Hey everybody, G4 Video 5 here, and welcome back to some more Grand Theft Auto 3. In this part, we're going to be going over the manual for Grand Theft Auto 3. And you might be thinking, why would we want to do that? Wouldn't you just find information about the controller and the credits in the manual? Well, the thing about this game is that the manual has a bit more flavor to it, and I find it mildly interesting. Like, I used to read the manual a couple times over as a kid, just because it was a fun read, and maybe somebody else would be interested in the manual, much like I am. So we're gonna dive into it. And on the left side we have the manual, on the right side we have the game disc that I used. So we're gonna pop this thing out, put the case aside, and here's the manual full frontal. So Grand Theft Auto 3, welcome to Liberty City. Now on the back side we do have the typical manual type of stuff where we have the controller configurations, so I'm not going to be reading that type of stuff as we go through this, but you know, the more meat and bones type of stuff that's relevant to our interests I will be diving into. So on the very front cover here we have a nice cast of characters that we've dealt with in Liberty City, as well as a oddly uncolored Misty. Like, her clothing is all white, which isn't actually what she ends up wearing in the game, so it's kind of odd there. Maybe it was a mistake on their part, or maybe that's what they were intending for her to wear in the beta version of this game. So, cool stuff. Everybody looks quite awesome, so we're gonna dive right in. On the first page on the left, we just have warning information, so that's not overly interesting, but on the right we have our table of contents. So when zooming closer, it says, "Welcome to Liberty City, the worst place in America," as well as a cool screenshot of Claude standing there with an AK-47 in Chinatown, and then below that we have the proper table of contents. So at the bottom of most of these pages within this manual, you're going to see "Welcome to Liberty City" on the left side, and then a saying on the right side. So, in this case, we have "Welcome to Liberty City, a terrible place for a holiday." And ain't that the truth? So these next two pages are just informational pages. So on the left you have console information, on the right you have more controller information. So we're going to skip all that and read this, which says, "Welcome to Liberty City, proudly fed a diet of fast food and cheap guns." So this is pretty cool stuff here, where it says how to find your way around. So on the left side it says, Liberty City is made up of 3 districts: Portland, Staten Island, and Shoreside Vale. So for Portland, this is the industrial zone. Here you will find the docks, the red light district, warehouses, factories, markets, garages, as well as some useful suppliers. This area is populated with hookers, pimps, laborers, dock workers, politicians, and general scum. Crime is rife in Portland, and it has a long history of mafia control, but this is being challenged by the Triads. A bloody turf war has been underway for several months, a delightful district with something for everyone. There's a nice screenshot of Trenton, a building in Trenton with some tall smokestacks. So places of interest: Luigi's, Mr. Wong's Launderette, Belly Up Artificial Mackerel Factory, Mama's, Ammunation, 8 Balls, Salvatore's Gentleman's Club. And Mama's, I guess, out of context seems a little weird, because it kind of makes you think, does the protagonist have a mother that we're going to be working for in this game, or what's going on here? So Mama's is referring to Tony Cipriani's mother's restaurant that's literally called Mama's, and it's where you end up doing missions for Tony in this game. So next up we have Staten Island. This is the central business district. This is where all the big business takes place in Liberty City, and is dominated by the rich, powerful, and corporate. During the day, the area is bustling with businessmen doing their 9-to-5 thing: insider trading, taking bribes, and selling their grandmothers for $10. At night, it is dark, desolate, and very dangerous. So as a kid, I used to take this manual quite seriously, and after reading the grandmother's thing, I used to think that in Staten Island, when you'd be like driving around at night, you'd end up seeing like old lady pedestrians hopping into like rumpos in dark alleyways or something. So it kind of freaked me out a little bit. But and moving forward, we have places of interest, which would be the Love Media Building, Busch Stadium, Kenji's Casino with an apostrophe there in Kenji's, because in-game it just says Kenji's Casino, the shopping mall, and Liberty Tree offices. So a cool screenshot there with some lens flare, really adding to the impact of that screenshot. Next we have Shoreside Vale, suburban bliss and tranquility Liberty City style. Home to many of Liberty City's more affluent gangsters, Liberty City's commuter belt is a patchwork of swimming pools, picket fences, backyards, basketball nets, street gangs, and 5-car garages. It is littered with ostentatious mansions paid for in blood money, protected by high security guards and gates to keep out the gangs of bored teenagers looking for something to do to bring some excitement to their middle-class existence. The designer dogs and the station wagons give a shallow serenity to suburbia, but don't be fooled. Violence and corruption are at the heart of every home. So they really go all out with describing Shoreside Vale, and, it kind of gives me vibes of, like, back in high school when you would have an essay due that needs to hit, like, a certain word count requirement. So you'd end up just, like, padding out sentences, and, you'd kind of end up sounding like this. So, I don't know, I mean, I'm fine with it. It sounds pretty cool, but, that's just the vibe I'm getting from that. Places of interest: Cartel Mansion, Francis International Airport, Cedar Ridge Observatory, Stoughton View Picnic Area. Which, I've always thought that this was all written for the average Joseph, like, the place of interest, Cartel Mansion, that's relevant to Claude's interests, but to the average Joseph, I mean, they wouldn't really have an interest in going to, like, a gang hideout, or at least I wouldn't think so, but, who am I to judge whoever's writing this thing? Bridges and tunnels. We have Staten Island can be reached from Portland via the Callahan Bridge. The Porter Tunnel project is delayed, but should be completed soon. Next, we have the map. You'll find a radar in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. This will show you where you are and where you're headed. For an overview of the whole city, you'll find a handy fold-out map included or referred to the center of this guide. So yeah, there's no in-game map in this version of Grand Theft Auto 3, so you're kind of forced to memorize the layout of Liberty City and kind of really familiarize yourself with the radar and all those streets kind of surrounding you, or you can use the map that's located in the manual, or in this fold-out guide that's currently folded. So we'll dive into that a bit later on. But at the bottom of these pages, we have "Welcome to Liberty City, where lunatics prosper," and I think Catalina is a shining example of that. But here we have transportation. So by car, and we have this screenshot of Claude entering a nice stallion there. Although the stallion looks like it's a really bright red color, so I think a lot of these screenshots end up using the beta mold for Grand Theft Auto 3. So some things might look a bit different than they end up being in the main game, in the final version of the game, I should say. So yeah, it's really cool when you pick out those differences there, or at least I think it is. So this paragraph says, "Liberty City is full of many different kinds of cars and vehicles, all of which are yours for the taking. Be warned, while some drivers will be scared and hand over their vehicle without too much resistance, others may not be too happy about it and will put up a fight. Furthermore, you aren't the only one who likes to travel this way. You can be carjacked at any time." So, yeah, you gotta watch out for getting your car jacked off there, as, thieves can do the same to you as you do to just about everybody else. So different vehicles tend to be found in different areas. You are more likely to find SUVs or station wagons in suburbia, more sports cars in the affluent commercial district, and more trucks in the industrial area. So if there's something in particular you are after, shop around. Next we have by train. Liberty City train runs across Portland 24/7 on a regular schedule. Stations can be found in Chinatown, by the water, in Portland View, and in Hepburn Heights. Fun fact, that is the Chinatown train station, and you can only find pedestrians walking around this train station for some reason. The other train stations in Portland are accessible from sidewalks, so I always found it odd why they didn't have pedestrians wandering around those train station platforms as well. So we have by subway. The Liberty City subway is a dangerous place. Always take weapons with you when traveling alone, especially after dark. The subway runs 24/7, and stations are located in the following areas. So there's 4 subway stations, and, as a kid I used to take that quite literally, where, I'd always, have my gun when wandering around the place, and I know I really shouldn't read too deeply into this, but I'd imagine that, it's probably written this way because when you unlock the ability to use subways, the Triads are angry at you, and they occupy the area surrounding the Portland subway, so it is quite dangerous, that one, but the other 3 subways aren't too bad around Liberty City. Next we have by boat. Head down to the docks and see if there are any boats lying around unsupervised. So yeah, you just straight up steal boats in this game. It's pretty awesome. By plane, Francis International Airport is located in Shoreside Vale. So you can obviously find the Dodo plane there, but these more fancy planes are unusable by Claude in any kind of capacity. Not that Claude would really have to use these planes, but it is worth noting. Now on foot, walk or run around the city depending on who's after you. But be warned, you can't sprint far. And I love this screenshot of Claude just casually strutting in this area in Chinatown where all these shops are located. I've always liked this area, and I'm glad that it is featured during the mission Farewell Chunky Lee Chong, where you assassinate him as he's working in this area in Chinatown. So I like that it's kind of brought out a little bit beyond just having a couple hidden packages located in this area. So that's pretty cool stuff. Welcome to Liberty City, where your car is all our car. So these 2 pages deal with recruitment, how to get a job. No text, just a picture. So apparently getting a job involves wearing a blue shirt, holding a baseball bat, and making a scrunched up face like you've just smelled a nice fart being blown directly into your nostrils. So, yeah, that's a little strange there, but, I don't know, some people might actually enjoy that, really gets the slacks moving a little bit when things like that happen, but it's not what you know. If you are looking for a career, the best jobs are landed by personal introductions. When your employers have work available for you, they will appear on your radar. Go visit them, and they'll give you a brief. So that's kind of like life advice in a way, where it's best to kind of expand your social circle, at work, so, potentially other opportunities open up for you and whatnot. So it's not what you know, it's who you know. And in this screenshot, it looks like it's taken from the mission Salvatore's Called a Meeting. So you have Tony and Claude speaking with Salvatore, or I guess I shouldn't include Claude in that since he's a silent protagonist, but in the background you have Joey giving Luigi a nice massage there, but more importantly, I guess, you have Joey still in his mechanic's outfit. He's wearing his blue slacks. And that's interesting because in the final version of this game, Joey's wearing a proper suit and tie, so apparently that was a last-minute change or something before they finalized this game, so cool stuff. Up here we have extra work by phone. Some of your contacts don't like to meet in person and will give out instructions on certain payphones around the city. These payphones will appear on your radar when they want to employ your special services. So we see that with Marty Chong, Sal Burrow, King Courtney, and D-Ice. Then we have by pager. Always keep your pager on you, which I thought implied that, I can turn off my pager if I wanted to, but you can't. It's always on and active. It pays to be reachable. You never know when a bit of extra work may come your way. When someone is trying to beep you, your pager will appear at the top left of your screen. And moving forward, we have this cool shot of a taxi. A bit on the side, taxis, police cars, ambulances, and fire trucks all provide opportunities for a bit of extra cash moonlighting in another profession. So that's just talking about emergency vehicle side missions there. So, welcome to Liberty City, a great place to leave. So, lots of information here on the left, where to stay. So, you need to find somewhere to stash your stuff, keep a nice set of wheels, lay low, hide out, and take a break. We recommend starting with somewhere basic, a warehouse in the industrial area, but just a word of warning, once you have moved on and found a new safe house in a different part of town, don't try returning to your old haunt. Your enemies will be waiting. So as a kid, I used to think that, oh man, after unlocking Staten Island and completing the mission Sayonara Salvatore for Azuka, I used to think by heading back here, I'd run into like mafia gang members just kind of waiting around in their sentinels at my safe house. So I'd always freak out whenever I'd go back to the Portland safe house after unlocking Staten Island because I'd think I'd get attacked at some point, but that's not the case. You can use any of the safe houses at any point in time in this game. So, yeah, this manual's kind of hyping it up a little bit there. And, law enforcement. I am not the law, but these gentlemen are, and that's an awesome screenshot there. So, ranging from the LCPD to SWAT teams and the FBI, Liberty City has a full law enforcement system to keep the city properly corrupt and somewhat safe, because nobody's safe from Claude's wrath. Protection. Your selected weapon is displayed in the top right-hand corner of the screen. You can get weapons by buying them, for example, from the Ammunation, stealing them, or being given them. So you would just have general information there. And I really dislike this screenshot where it says 275-24. It's like, what happened to that one lone stray bullet? Oh man, it pains me because that number doesn't end in a 5 or a 0. So, yeah, I'm just weird like that. But moving on, we have local amenities. Hospital. There is a hospital located in each area, and this is where you will end up if you don't watch your back. It is also worth a trip if you're feeling under the weather. They can usually give you something to restore your health and give you that extra sense of well-being. So there's the Sweeney General Hospital in Portland. Spray shops. These can be used for repairing vehicles and getting rid of unwanted legal attention, and are located in the following areas. So Pay and Spray with a white rumpo going into it. The One Stop Auto Shop. Bomb Shop. Run by the trusty 8-Ball, the explosives expert. This place is worth making a note of. And I love that screenshot of the sign for 8-Ball's bomb shop, because you never really look at it when you're passing by the area, It's never really a good chance to glance over at it, so I really do like that screenshot there. It's pretty cool. Next we have police stations / jails. Police stations and jails can be found in each district, and this is where you'll find yourself if you push your luck too far. So nice angle on that screenshot showing the Portland police station. Next we have the Ammunation, an American tradition. Liberty City's leading weapons supplier is located in the following areas. So it looks like this screenshot was probably taken from the mission Pump Action Pimp. After you speak with Luigi, there's this cutscene that plays that highlights the Ammunation so you know what it looks like and where it's generally located. So welcome to Liberty City. Makes you wish you'd stayed at home. So this is the Midpoint Map that the manual was referring to, where we have this map that we can utilize, and it's a pretty cool looking thing. You have all these characters surrounding the map, and then of course the key at the bottom of these pages. But there's a bit of an issue with this, where there's this odd thing that they chose to do, which is cool looking, but if we wanted to properly utilize this map, it's virtually impossible, because take a look at Staten Island. In that more downtown area, you have all of these tall buildings that are just blocking off where the roads are located, so it's really difficult to kind of understand how that section of the island is laid out. So I wouldn't really say that this map is overly useful, but it is really cool to look at. So down here in the key, there's a couple things I wanted to point out. In Portland, for number 9, we have Mr. Wong's Launderette. If it ain't Wong's, it ain't white. Which is such a stupid motto or phrase for a business. In Staten Island, we have number 10, Phil Cassidy's Army Surplus. And I point this out because in the game, Phil is only referred to as Phil. It's never Phil Cassidy, so this is the support that you would use, I guess, if you're, I don't know, arguing or doing an essay or something, something weird. But this supports that, Phil Cassidy here is the same Phil Cassidy that we see in Vice City, for example. Like, if this guy's name was just Phil and they left it at that, then you can make the argument that, well, just because Phil was in Grand Theft Auto 3, that doesn't mean that that's the same Phil Cassidy that we see in Vice City, if you get me. So, yeah, interesting there that they do say Phil Cassidy. It's this lore stuff, I suppose. But number 18, more lore. City Hall Mayor O'Donovan. So, in Liberty City Stories, they really dive into this mayor race, where you have O'Donovan racing against another character. And they didn't just pull Mayor O'Donovan out of a hat. They actually have always had Mayor O'Donovan as the mayor from the very beginning here in Grand Theft Auto 3. So, I don't know, I just found that bit of information pretty cool. So, we're going to move on now to the next page, which is population. So 4 million people live in Liberty City. We have local gangs, and it starts off with the Leone family, headed up by Salvatore Leone. Turf around St. Mark's industrial sector. Business, protection, extortion, robbery. Front, restaurants, clubs. Style, charming, smart, traditionally well-dressed, strong Sicilian family. Characteristics, loyalty to family above all else. Strong family values, very traditional, very repetitive. Wheels, limo supplied by Joey Leone. And I'm not a fan of that. I wish it would have said Sentinels or, limos and Sentinels, because it's like the average Mafia gang member does not drive a limo. And I know that the limo does feature in certain missions revolving around the Mafia, but, I think it's a bit of false advertising there to say limos when it's really the Sentinels that take up the bulk of the wheels for the Mafia. So we'll move on from that. Actually, first, favorite radio station, Double Clef FM. So next we have the Triads Turf, Chinatown, Industrial Sector, Business, Protection, Laundry, Bullying the Mafia. So I guess bullying the Mafia is a business, apparently. So front, Artificial Mackerel Factory, more fish, less kipper. Style, heavily tattooed. Characteristics, intensely loyal and obsessively territorial maniacs. Wheels, laundry vans. Favorite radio station, Chatterbox FM. Next we have the Yakuza, Turf, Central Business District, Commercial Sector. Business, gambling, protection, counterfeiting. Front, casinos. Style, impeccably dressed. That's such a great phrasing there for describing the way somebody's dressed impeccably. Man, that's awesome. Characteristics, traditional Japanese organized crime syndicate that is centuries old. Honor, loyalty, efficiency are key. Patriarchal hierarchy, which is very difficult to say. I don't know why, but that's a bit of an oddball wordage and stuff. Favorite radio station, Lips 106. So, Diablos, Al Burrow is back. Turf, Hepburn Heights, Industrial Sector. Style, denim, trainers, red bandanas, and slicked back hair. Characteristics, Hispanic street gang. Wheels, stallions. Favorite radio station, Head Radio. Next we have Southside Hoods, Turf, The Projects, Suburbia. Style, gold chains, rings, and teeth. Branded streetwear, hooded sweatshirts, platinum. So I guess they're Pokemon fans. Wheels, Rumpo XL. Favorite radio station, Game Radio, MSX. And then we have the Colombian Cartel, their Turf around the airport, the construction site, and the derelict freighter. So, all over the city. Front, Freight. Style, snakeskin cowboy boots, jeans, printed shirts, and 10-gallon hats rimmed with gator and or snake teeth. Characteristics, ruthless and disloyal. Wheels, souped-up 4x4 chrome buckets. Favorite radio station, Flashback FM, Rise FM. Next we have the Arties, their Turf, Uptown, Commercial Sector. Style, loaded with Caribbean-style dreadlocks and long dark suits. Characteristics, they love penthouse suites and often mark their territory like cats with voodoo charms. Wheels, Lobo. Favorite radio station, K-Jaw. So, welcome to Liberty City, where dreams are broken, much like buttholes after enchilada night. So, local figureheads, the people who run this town. So a nice cast of characters there. It starts off with Maria, 8-Ball, Luigi, Joey Leone, Tony, Salvatore Leone. Then we have Misty, which is kind of odd. You know, she's the odd person out, I'd say, in terms of importance to the story. Like, I know she does have a couple missions that do revolve around her, but in the grand scheme of things, she's fairly insignificant, so yeah, I don't know about that one. But Elbiro, Kenji, Azuka, Miguel, and Donald Love. And I suppose Miguel is kind of false advertisement because, yeah, he is one of the leaders of the Colombian cartel, but you never really interact with him too much. Grand Theft Auto 3, ooh, bit of an error there. It's supposed to say, welcome to Liberty City, but Grand Theft Auto 3, visit at your own risk. So here we have the classifieds, and a few things circled as if, you know, Claude was reading this, so he circled what was interesting to him. So we have employment. Wanted, small-time crook as errand boy for large-scale gangster operation. Must be willing to do anything. Ooh. Good pay and very good prospects for promotion. Visit Luigi's in Portland if you think you are up to the job. No questions asked. So this could be very sinisterly dirty here if you read into it a bit too much. But in moving forward, we have the new Maibatsu monstrosity. Why drive a small car? Are you a small person? The new SUV Maibatsu monstrosity guzzles gas and is equipped for crossing Arctic tundra. Driving one will make you feel good. Next to that, we have the City of Liberty Mayor's Office. Liberty City's Mayor O'Donovan. Below that, real estate, safe house, warehouse property available now. Secure, good for storing special weapons and vehicles, and for saving the game. Ooh, bit of fourth wall break in there. Oh, I'm not a fan of that. Safe, secure. And then a screenshot of a random building in Chinatown, because that's not the building that you see for the Portland safe house. So, yeah, interesting choice there. Ammunation, the store that helped beat communism, is having a sale. 15% off on armor-piercing bullets. That's pretty cool. We have Fernando's New Beginnings, which has a fantastic in-game commercial, and this reads just like the commercial. Hello, I am Fernando Martinez. Apologies here, because this font is very small, but founder of Fernando's New Beginnings, a revolutionary way to save your marriage. Call me now at 555-9292, and I can work a miracle. I guarantee it. I love that. I love that. And the Maibatsu monstrosity in-game commercial. I think they're fantastic. So moving on, we have a petsovernight.com ad. Delivering little bundles of love in a box directly to your door. Remember, everyone loves kittens. And then we have 1555, I sue you. Sue anyone for anything, and you'll probably win, or at least get a settlement. Call us and get ready to enjoy a life of luxury. Which is trademarked, so that's pretty cool. Belly Up Mackerel. Fish and seafood processing plant. Finest 100% artificial mackerel. More fish, less kipper. And then this ad, I don't know, it's just very difficult to read this ad because the font is so small, but it's for Mama's Restaurant, a Liberty City favorite since 1968. So, yeah, sadly, you really can't read this too well. But we serve only the finest Sicilian food and have only the finest Sicilian hospitality. Parallelism there. Our commitment to original Italian recipes has made us a Liberty City favorite, a place for celebrations, and a place to eat real well. Mama wouldn't have it any other way. But yeah, this is where it just gets ridiculous here. Let me see if I can focus in on this here. Okay, that's a little bit better. So, Liberty City Top 100 Sicilian American Restaurants, 1997. The place will make you feel like you're in a mafia flick. And rightly so. They're all crazy. That was from Maggot's Food Guide. And then below that, if I can get this to focus again, Mama's is a real dining treasure. One of the last of its kind. From Wayne Koff, Liberty Tree Ad Sales Department. So, that's pretty cool stuff there, once you're able to actually read it. Next we have Polk the Monkey, a friend for all the family, available for all video game consoles, a monkey with springs for legs, with polkthemonkey.com, and if you actually type that in, it'll just take you to the Rockstar website. Next we have a bit of foul language here. Make that bitch shut up, with tasty bone meal, chicken carcasses, the scrapings off the arbiter floor, and lots of other nutritious goodies. No wonder she's so happy. Bitch and dog food, and that is such a disgusting looking thing. Which you can say about a lot of things in Liberty City. So welcome to Liberty City, where the only dirty word is hope. So here we have Sounds of the City. So we have just a bunch of credits, really, with Head Radio, Double Clef FM, K-Jaw, Rise FM, Lips Radio DJ, which is kind of weird. It should say Lips 106, Game FM, Msx Fm, Flashback Fm with Tony, Chatterbox FM, and commercials. So I don't know what's so special about Tony on Flashback FM. Why doesn't Chatterbox FM say Chatterbox FM with Laszlo? Or Game FM with Stretch Armstrong and Lord Sear? Kind of shenanigans, I think, there, giving Flashback the special treatment. But, I will say I do like a lot of the radio in this game. I don't think it's as good as, Vice City or San Andreas, but considering what it is, which is a lot of just kind of music that was made for this game, along with some lesser-known type of music, I think it's better than you would expect it to be. I'll put it that way. So I do like Head Radio; it's pretty cool. Double Clef FM, of course, also great. Which I love the hosts for these first two radio stations. You have DJ Michael Hunt. So you can condense that a little bit, and then you get a nice little joke there. And then you have Double Clef FM with Morgan Merriweather, and I think he's my favorite radio DJ. Out of any radio DJ, honestly. He's definitely up there. So Morgan Merriweather is hilarious. K-Jaw, this isn't the type of music I typically listen to, but K-Jaw is really good. It's something that when it's on, whenever I steal a vehicle, I'll typically leave it on, unless I'm recording, because I do prefer music that doesn't really have too many vocals, or if it does have vocals, like with MSX, it's more or less incomprehensible, so I prefer having that in the background. But when I'm just casually playing or doing some side stuff, I do like K-Jaw quite a bit. Rise FM, it's kind of iffy for me. I don't know, it's not my cup of tea, so that's all I'll say on it, but it's not awful. Next we have Lips 106 with Andy there as the DJ, and there's a lot of good songs on here. April's in Paris, Feels Like I Just Can't Take No More is fantastic. You have The Shootas with Grand Theft Auto. Fantastic song right there. And speaking of, with Head Radio, since both of these stations utilize music that was written specifically for this game, outside of Grand Theft Auto, because that was featured in a different Grand Theft Auto game before this one, but, you have Fade Away. Change is pretty good. Electronic Go-Go. Yeah, so there's a good handful of songs on both of these radio stations that are really, really good, and that I never like changing the radio on or having to leave my vehicle whenever those songs are playing. Game FM, it's kind of like with K-Jaw, where this isn't really something I would normally listen to, but the music for Game FM is pretty good. Again, it's something that I would leave on whenever I enter a vehicle and these tracks are playing. It's really good stuff. I like Game Radio, or Game FM, I should say. Next is Msx Fm, which is my favorite radio station in this game, besides Chatterbox. So with proper music, it's my favorite radio station. But this, I don't know what it is about this. I just think it's amazing. And I feel like you can either love or hate Msx Fm, because DJ Timecode just does not shut up during these songs. He's always saying something, and to me it adds to it. It's very entertaining, but I can see why that would put people off, because it's just this guy talking over these really awesome tracks, and it could be a little off-putting. But like I said, I thoroughly enjoy this, and First Contact by Omni Trio is just amazing. So next we have Flashback FM with Tony, which is a really weird radio station because it features music from Scarface, which is fine. All these tracks were written by Giorgio Moroder, and it's like these songs, it's weird. Like, they don't sound like they're going to be good, but they're catchy somehow, and they really add to certain situations. Like, I vividly remember at one point in my life, I'm Hot Tonight was playing, and I was doing the mission Triads and Tribulations, where you have this all-out gang war going on. Tony Cipriani tells you to whack some Triad warlords, so you're driving around the place, you have all this gunfire going off between the Triads and the Mafia, since they're spawning in each other's turf. And I don't know why, just I'm Hot Tonight was playing. I remember that at one point in my life, and it was just super awesome. Like, there's a juxtaposition to it, which is why I think it works with the movie Scarface, because, you have this generally dark movie, but you have this upbeat music playing in the background. So, take it to Grand Theft Auto 3, where you have this very dark setting and potentially very crazy things going on, but then this, like, super upbeat, stereotypically 80s music. I mean, it's pretty awesome stuff. So Flashback FM, I wouldn't go out of my way to listen to it, but depending on the situation, it's definitely something that I would leave on. So next we have Chatterbox FM, which is hosted by Laszlo, the famous Laszlo, who's appeared in every Grand Theft Auto game post Grand Theft Auto 3, outside of a small handful, but I do think that this is the best iteration of Laszlo. Like, this is my favorite thing that Laszlo has ever done in any of the Grand Theft Auto games, because he's done a lot of stuff, and he's even made appearances in Grand Theft Auto after this game. But I just think that this is like the perfect Laszlo iteration, because he plays the straight man to all these dumb antics that go on. Like, it's fantastic. You have the Reed Tucker interview, which is amazing, and then of course the Fernando Martinez interview. I mean, the naked guy, the killer bees, the guy who wants a nanny. There's just so much gold. Like, Chatterbox FM is something that I would genuinely listen to when I'm not even playing the game. I just pull it up on YouTube and listen to that while it's playing. It's like an hour long, and it's just, man, it's pretty awesome stuff. I really do give props to Chatterbox FM in this game, because it is perfect the way it is. And then the commercials are also pretty good in this game, written by Dan Houser and Laszlo. And then, of course, the credits for people who have voiced some of the characters in these commercials. A smaller list than you would expect, that's for sure. So welcome to Liberty City, a town on the edge. So on these final 2 pages, beyond the advertisements, we have the credits page. So, of course, we have Leslie Benzies, Sam Houser and Dan Houser, and then everybody else in between. Always like looking at this, even though I never end up memorizing most of these names, but I don't know, it's just cool seeing all the different names of people that have worked on this game, and it's it's really cool stuff, I think. And of course we have the voice cast. Frank Vincent as Salvatore Leone, Michael Madsen as Tony Cipriani, Kyle MacLachlan as Donald Love, Robert Loggia as Ray Mikowski, Guru as 8-Ball. Just really awesome stuff. You will notice that within the cast listing here, you do have Chico, which is pretty funny, but you also have Darkel being listed here, which is a curious listing, because Darkel does not actually appear in this game at all. So it's intriguing. It's like you really wonder what Darkel was going to be and why they removed him. Like, there's always been a few rumblings about Darkel and, his impact and all that. But, it's just, you want to see the full frontal bush, you want it up close and personal. You want to see what the end product would have been if they would have kept Darkel in. It's just, there's a lot of mystery surrounding that character that was removed from this game for various reasons. I think the reason given by Rockstar is that he just didn't fit what was going on in the game, so they just, removed him completely because they felt he was unnecessary. So, yeah, good stuff going on there. And then that completes the manual. On this back page, we have this time capsule of advertisements. You know, you have this ad for Midnight Club 2 coming out in January 2003, and it ended up coming out in April 2003. But, man, it's just weird looking at this thing because, you know, this manual and this game came out before either of these games came out. You know, you have Grand Theft Auto Vice City coming 10/22/02. Man, it's just weird. It's like when this game came out, 10/22/02, I was 7 years old. And now I'm some crusty old man 18 years later. But, you know, it's just cool looking at this thing, you know. Because we're so far past it now. But I won't linger on that for too much longer, so because it's kind of getting depressing. But moving on, we have this fold-out thing that the manual referred to. So it's just a poster. Like, I used to hang this thing up on my wall as a kid. And it's pretty cool. So we're going to fold this out, and I'll just drag it across the screen so we have the top, all those cool characters, followed by a mafioso masterpiece by Maxim, concluding the bottom of the poster there. But, man, that's pretty cool stuff. Of course, my poster's torn a little bit, but that's not a big deal. I still think it's really awesome stuff. But here's the map that the game was talking about. Welcome to Liberty City. So it's a bit hard to fit this all on screen. I'm trying my best, but you can see that the map is not a 3D rendering. You do have the characters surrounding the map, which is pretty cool, but the map itself is flat. You know, you're flat! So if we kind of bring this a little bit closer here, you can see that everything is flattened out, so you have an overhead view as to what the city looks like. And this is a lot more useful, but I'd say at this point it's just a matter of kind of figuring out where you are in relation to this map and where the objective is going to be. Like, it's useful for sure. Like, if you wanted to take notes as to where hidden packages are located or something like that, then yeah, this is pretty nifty, but I am still glad in Vice City they decided to have an in-game map, so you can have all these different, like, prompts and bullet points and stuff, so you kind of know where things are and all that good stuff. And then on the right side, we have Alburo's gut, but we also have the key located here, so really cool stuff. I do think that this is a very awesome thing. Just showing this off one more time. And something I wanted to point out is that underneath Liberty in this map, we have this cop car, and it might be difficult to see, but this is a beta version cop car because this cop car is a shade of blue, which I know that this entire map is like a shade of blue in the background, but you can still kind of point out, like, hey, this Sentinel right here is a different color, or that Patriot right there is a different color than the light blue. But this police car blends in quite nicely with the light blues. So in the beta version, the LCPD police cars were actually going to have a light blue color to them, but then they ended up changing that. So it's pretty neat that they included that in this map. Bit of remnants from the beta version there, but yeah, that's what we have going on with that fold-out poster there. And then, of course, with the manual. And last thing I wanted to go over was the back side of the case, as we have Rockstar presents a DMA design before DMA design was Rockstar North, Grand Theft Auto 3, Liberty City, USA, the worst place in America. You've been betrayed and left for dead. Now you're taking revenge, unless the city gets to you first. Mob bosses need a favor, crooked cops need help, and street gangs want you dead. You'll have to rob, steal, and kill just to stay out of serious trouble. Anything can happen out there. Grand Theft Auto 3 expands the very idea of what a game has traditionally been, IGN.com. A mafioso masterpiece, Maxim. And then we have these screenshots. This one's always been quite interesting, where you have Claude looking down at the top of the Amco building in Torrington, holding an AK-47. That's a pretty cool shot there. And then you also have this one of Claude in Harwood, outside of the Capital Autos building, where you can find the Banshee in Portland, and there's oddly a Diablo Stallion there. I don't know if it belongs to Claude, or if one of those Diablo gang members ended up sneaking in to to Mafia territory, but yeah, that's pretty much it. And that is Grand Theft Auto 3, so I hope whoever's still watching at this point enjoyed this video. I think it was quite fun to do. And until my next video, I'll see you next time.